Alrighty, the next thing we're going to talk about is domain and range. The way I remember this is I can draw a line straight under domain and never touch it. Same with x's. If I draw a line under range, I have to go down for the g. It's the same with a y. So that's how I remember it, domain and range. It's also in alphabetical order, x, y. So domain is all of your x values. It's also called input, domain, or independent variable. Input and independent start with the same two letters. Then we have y values. They are the output, or the range, or the dependent variable. So sometimes you'll need to know the difference between those. Let's do some examples. It says Marissa used to use the set of ordered pairs below to graph a relation. What is the domain of the relation? Well, domain is your x values. So we have a 3, a 2, a 2, a 4, and a 3. Well, put them in order, but if they repeat, you don't have to repeat them. So we're going to start with the 2, then the 3, then the 4. So that is our domain. So we have answer B here. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. Alex created a table to represent the function y equals 2x plus 4. What is the range? Notice you have to go down for the table of values. That would be the y's right there. That's all you need to know. Okay. What are the domain and the range of this relation? Well, first of all, I'm going to get my highlighter out, and I am going to highlight for domain my x-axis. Okay, so to find the domain values, you could literally find the coordinates for every one of these points, but I like to do it a different way. I start from the left, and if you look at E and you go all the way up to the x value, it's right here at -2. The same for A. So that means for my domain, the first thing I'm going to write down is -2. Then I'm going to find my next point. Do you see C? And if you go up to the x value, it's a 1. And then I'm D and B. They both have the same x value, which is 3. So that is my domain. Now, if I was finding the range of this, which means I have to find my y values, the first thing I need to do is get my eraser so I can get rid of what I did here. So I'm going to get rid of that. I highlighted the x value, or the x-axis, when I was looking for domain, but now I'm looking for range. Okay? If I'm looking for range, that means I am going to highlight my y-axis. And instead of going left to right like I did with domain, I'm going to go top to bottom. That way they're already in order. Okay? So I'm going to start at the bottom with E. If I go across to the y-axis, my first number is -4. Then I'm going to go up to C and D, and if I go over to the y-axis, then it's a -1 that comes next. Let me get my eraser and get rid of that extra mark there. Okay, so that way nobody gets confused. There you go. Alrighty, and then I'm going to go up to my next points. So I've already done E, and I went to the right, to the y-axis, got -4. C and D, I went to the left, and to the y-axis, I got -1. Now B, if I go to the y-axis, it is a 2. And then A, if I come over to the y-axis, it is a 3. So those would be the range items in that relation. Okay? So that's how you do that. The other way is to just write out the points for each one and then match them up. So for example, this is a -2, 3. This is a -2, -4. C is a 1, -1. B is a 3 and a 2, and D is a 3, -1. So you could also do it that way. X values are -2, 1, and 3, and Y values are -4, -1, 2, and 3. You could also do it that way. Okay? See what our next example is. Which table represents a relation with a domain of -1 and 2, so domain is x's, and a range of 3 and 5, which means y's are 3 and 5. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to look for -1s and 2s in my domain. -1 in all 2's, first one works. -1 and 2's, second one works. -1, 2, 3, and 5. That does not work because these are not part of my domain. And X is here, 3's and 5's. Nope, that doesn't work either because they are not part of my domain. So I'm down to 2 choices. I need a range, Y values of 3 and 5. Well, this one has a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 6, so that's not right. So I got to cross another one out. Let's make sure this has a 3, a 5, a 3, and a 5, so that is my answer. Be prepared to see things like this where they're going to ask you to check on both domain X's and range Y's. All right, this one's written a little differently, but asking basically the same thing. Domain of 2 and 3 and a range of 5 and 8. So let's check the first one, domain. X's are 2, 3, and 3. That worked. Let's check for the Y's, 5 and 8. We've got an 8, a 5, and a 0. That wasn't in there, so we better get rid of that. That did not work. All right, X's, 2's and 3's. 3, 2, 3 worked. Range, 5's and 8's. We have a 5, 5, and an 8. That looks like a winner, but let's check the others. Domain is 2 and 3. Well, this has a 5, so there's no way that's it. And then domain 2 and 3, we've got 2 8's and a 5. Nope, that's not it, so definitely B is our winner. I know you can do this. I really do. Y'all have a great day.